Hello, hello, everybody. We are back with Take Your Medicine. Billy, say hello to our friends. Hello, friends. Hello, friends. Oh my God, that's a nose in my mouth. That's disgusting. You're yucky. Just kidding. I love you. What's today? It's episode 41. We are making progress, Billy. Yes, we sure are. 41 episodes, and it is getting easier. It feels a lot less anxiety inducing to just get in here and hit record and share my little heart. Today won't be a very long episode, but I did want to check in, say hello. And, let's see, school started yesterday for my youngest. He went to sixth grade, so it's his first time switching classes. And it went really well, so I'm super grateful for that. And I got this new card deck 2 days ago, and I was really excited about it because I have not ever really familiarized myself with the tarot, but this is a tarot deck. I have my animal cards here that we've pulled from on this show before, and I love these. But I have been drawn to the tarot, and no deck has really stood out to me. And I saw this one, and it's called the Light Seer's Tarot. And light beings are what I see. And it's really cool to me as I have thought more about my experiences since seeing someone else channel recently. And it's kind of made it more real to me, given me more of a little bit of confidence, like, oh my God, I'm not a psychopath. This is real. It's really happening. It's really cool to me that I can see these beings in the light so much of the time. I see them several times every day with no medicine whatsoever. They are constantly reminding me of their presence. If I see somebody I love, and oftentimes a being will be like all over their face, Jesus, Kate, or Eper, or another. So I'm just so grateful that these worlds are merging. On my last journey in Sedona, Jesus, Kate put me through it. These procedures, they feel like several labors and deliveries, and it is a lot. And AJ held me and comforted me through it. But what they were doing is really like merging these two worlds. It's like the fifth and sixth dimensions or something. There are no labels for these higher dimensions. And the third dimension just like merging, and it's just like pulling, and it was very intense. But I feel a difference in my body. I feel a difference in my level of self-confidence, which is something that they said I need to work on, my ego, my self-doubt. And so I'm very grateful that these beings are with me and I can see them every single day, not just when I am journeying. So very, very grateful for that. And the more work I do, the clearer they become, the more auras I can see, the more energy, orbs, all kinds of things. It's like your third eye starts to open, and it's beautiful and amazing. I looked this up on Google to verify yesterday. We see less than 0.1% of the light spectrum. Our eyes are only able to see 0.1, less than 0.1% of the visible light spectrum. Just think about that. Think about what exists that our physical eyes cannot see. 99.9999% of all that exists is not visible to us. So we get distracted because this world is so noisy and so chaotic and so dense that our eyes and our bodies and our brains have been kind of programmed to only be able to see the densest objects, the 3D world, the very physical. But as we start to clear out and we create some space, some stillness, we start to open our third eye and we can see more of these higher dimensional beings. We can see more, we can experience more of the consciousness of everything around us. It's amazing. And these beings that I work with, they live in that part of the light spectrum that most people can't see. And when I'm on the medicine, the default mode network in my brain is shut down for the most part. The parts of my brain that cause me to walk and talk and drive and survive all of the stress and organize things in my brain, all of that kind of goes away. And so you are able to see more because your brain and your energy are not taken up by the day-to-day stresses of this three-dimensional life. And so meditation can offer you that exact same experience where you go in and you create space and you create stillness and you quiet that default mode network in your brain, and you can start to really open up to all kinds of visions, symbolism. Your dreams can start opening up. You can start connecting and feeling subtle energies of plants, of your fruits and vegetables, everything, the water, everything is energy, everything. So anyway, the day before yesterday, I got this deck and I wanted to pull a card. So Jonah, my son, came over and I was like, do you want to be the first card pulled of this deck? And he was like, sure. And so I pulled a card and it was the Two of Cups. And it was all about new relationships, new connections, both friendship and romantic. And it was so cool. Yesterday, the very next day, I was giving Jonah a ride, and I hope he doesn't mind me telling this story. There was this beautiful girl walking along the sidewalk and he's like, oh my gosh, she's so beautiful. I was like, do you want me to like pull over so you can ask for her number? And he's like, oh, I'm nervous. I'm like, just be brave. You got it. You got it. She looks really nice or whatever. So we turned around, flipped the U-turn, and tried not to be creepy and pulled up next to her. And he's like, hello, I just noticed you walking and I thought you were so beautiful. Can I have your number? And she's like, sure. And she was so sweet. And she and him have been texting ever since. And she seems like a really sweet girl. So courage pays off. And I was so proud of Jonah for being so brave. He's just one of the coolest humans I've ever known in my life. And that card that we pulled the night before was all about making new connections and new relationships. And so I thought that was really cool. I was like, do you remember the card you pulled? And he's like, oh shit, that's awesome. So it was really cool. Anyway, so I thought it would be fun to have the second card I pulled be for you. I have been sleeping with these next to my bed. I'm going to put them under my pillow soon. I usually put a new deck under my pillow for a few nights, but just slept with them next to my bed. I've held them to my heart quite a bit. I've just held them in my hands and shuffled them like this a lot. I like to just kind of familiarize and attune myself with the deck itself. Thank you, deck. Thank you so much. And I will cut these cards and pull a card and see if it has any wisdom for us today. Here it is, the Knight of Cups. This is so interesting. I'll show you some more of these cards. They're really cute. The Knight of Cups. Let's see if I can find it quickly. There's the King of Cups, Knight of Cups. There it is. All right. It says, I am in touch with my emotions. The Light Seer, a classic romantic, a passionate soul, artistic tendencies, creativity, wearing your heart on your sleeve, seeking connection, being in love with the idea of love, chivalry. The Shadow Seer, missing the signs, protecting your heart, not being open to love, a player, a jealous partner, moodiness, sulking, negative emotions, blocking progress, and disappointment. This classic romantic invites you to step into a world of roses, bubble baths, and champagne, and is fully devoted to you for today and maybe for every day. This card heralds romance, and this is so funny after my story about Jonah. I guess maybe we're all supposed to be making some romantic connections and really just enjoying the romantic side of life. Jesus Kate loves champagne. She loves the energy of champagne. It's bubbly, it's sparkly, it's light, it's refreshing. I love champagne too. Jesus Kate and I enjoy it together. The knight is intuitive and totally in touch with his emotions. As such, he knows what he wants and he has no problem wearing his heart on his sleeve. True manliness. This card often signifies someone who is in love with the idea of love itself, and sometimes this comes bundled with unrealistic expectations. Are you ready to be swept off your feet and to allow deep honesty and vulnerability to flow freely into your life? Do you believe in this type of true love? Get ready to take inspiration and run with it, to make art, to make music and love and a veritable masterpiece out of life. That is beautiful. I feel like the more I do this work, the more beauty I see in the small things, the little things, even the difficult things. And we can truly be transported into higher dimensions while still in this third dimension, which is so cool. Like the other night, I was telling AJ about a Reiki session I have to facilitate for somebody coming up. And I was telling him that Jesus Kate had been showing me in my meditation that she and I can help someone else experience a higher dimension. It's like she creates this atmosphere and this space. And as long as the person is open to the energy, they can be transported during a Reiki session to a higher dimension, and we can be very fluid with one another and we can work with the energy in that higher dimension. And so as I was telling AJ this, I was describing it because of the Reiki session I have coming up. But then we went on a little date and we came home, and our youngest was at his friend's house and all our kids were out of the house. And so we were making nachos in the kitchen, and AJ turned on some music and we were dancing our hearts out and we were singing and we were laughing our heads off. And on that same day that I was telling him that we can be transported, he was having this like transcendental transportation experience through the joy and the love we were having in that kitchen. And we kissed each other and held each other and danced some more and laughed and stared into each other's eyes. And it was just this absolutely beautiful experience that feels like it's otherworldly because there's so much heaviness on this world. And those are the moments we can achieve when we really open ourselves, when we open our hearts, open our minds, heal ourselves so that we can see the value in all of the difficult things, And so I just absolutely think it's worth it to go through the shadow, to face our darkest parts, to not run away and not avoid, because everything we're avoid still festers and bothers and disturbs our lives. So let me show you a few more of these cards before I put them away. These are so pretty. I haven't even really seen a lot of them. Let's see. Wands, Four of Wands, Judgment, the World, it's beautiful, Ace of Wands, Ten of Swords. So I am excited about learning more about the tarot. I really do not know anything, and so I want to do some research and learn, where did the tarot come from? Where did these cups and swords and knights and all of these things even come from? It's something that I was really kind of taught as a child that was kind of evil or not of God. And so to open myself to these things is, a little bit uncomfortable, but it feels right. So I'm going to do it. One other thing before I go, I was reading from my very favorite book of all time, A New Earth, Awakening to Your Life's Purpose by Eckhart Tolle this morning. And I thought I would share one part of what I was reading because it kind of goes along with what I've been talking about actually, is just like the way we choose, whatever we choose to walk through instead of avoid, we can heal ourselves. And when we heal ourselves, what we are coming into is a sense of self-love, deep self-love, because we realize that we are the divine. We are perfect. Our hearts are perfect. We come down into this very dense realm for the thrill of it, for the enjoyment of it, for the growth and expansion we receive, the intelligence that we receive from going through something difficult, from forgetting our divinity. And so, but underneath all of that, we are literally perfect. We are divine. We are the creation and the creator. And so what we experience in this life is a reflection of how we truly feel about ourselves. So if we get upset and disturbed and frustrated by really little things, by small things, we probably view ourselves as small, even though we don't necessarily admit that to ourselves. If we really want peace, if we really want harmony in our lives, we understand that all these small things are easy to just let go. And Jesus Kate, oh my God, she's like the best at showing me this. She's very feisty. She's beautiful. She's mysterious. She's gorgeous beyond all words. And she will laugh in my face if I ask her a question about something. For instance, several years ago, Iggy and I, my very best friend, we were going to start a podcast, which we did for several months. And I came to Jesus Kate and I said, what should we name the podcast? And Jesus Kate just laughed and was like, who cares what you name the podcast? Who cares? Just do it. Just do it from your heart. We don't give a fuck about the name. Who cares? And, it's all of these little attachments that cause our life to feel so heavy and difficult. And so if we could just look at our life and say, what can I not care so much about? Because on the other side, when they lose these attachments, they are free. They are without limits. They are boundless. They can shapeshift. They have all of these beautiful technologies and intelligences that we could have access to if we didn't carry with us so many attachments that we use to keep ourselves feeling safe or feeling okay in the world. So let me just read a little bit of what Eckhart Tolle says. He says, your sense of who you are determines what you perceive as your needs and what matters to you in life. And whatever matters to you will have the power to upset and disturb you. So you may want to ask yourself the question, what are the things that upset and disturb me? If small things have the power to disturb you, then who you think you are is exactly that, small. You might say, I know I am an immortal spirit, or I am tired of this mad world, and peace is all I want. Until the phone rings. Bad news, the stock market has collapsed. The deal may fall through. The car has been stolen. Your mother-in-law has arrived. The trip is canceled. The contract has been broken. Your partner has left you. They demand more money. They say it's your fault. Suddenly, there's a surge of anger and anxiety. A harshness comes into your voice. I can't take any more of this. You accuse and blame, attack, defend, or justify yourself. And it's all happening on autopilot. Something is obviously much more important to you now than the inner peace that just a moment ago you said was all you wanted. And you're not an immortal spirit anymore either. The deal, the money, the contract, the loss of threat, or the loss or threat of loss are more important. To whom? The immortal spirit that you said you are? No. To me, the small me that seeks security or fulfillment in things that are transient and gets angry or anxious because it fails to find it, well, at least now you know who you really think you are. Eckhart Tolle has a way with words. This book has touched me so deeply. I've read it many times and I love it so much. And I've given it as a gift a lot of times as well to people that I love. It is so important that we pay attention to what upsets us, what triggers us. And instead of shaming ourselves for getting upset, getting anxious, getting triggered, go deeper into it. Go into the feeling. Go into the body where you're feeling that feeling. Love yourself through that. Care for that, and also let it go. Let it go. There's one other thing actually that I was reading this morning, forgot about, and it's talking about in Melody Beattie's book, Journey to the Heart. She was talking about what to do when people resent us. And I thought it was interesting, and I won't read the whole thing, but she says, look deep within yourself and find the emotional block, the unresolved issue, or the old belief that makes you vulnerable to that person's resentment. Then release it. Heal it by acknowledging it, feeling it, and letting it go. And so I would advise all of us to see where we can do that more. When something upsets us, when somebody is upset and we are feeling it and it is eating at us, let's look and see, what is this really? And really go deeper into it instead of feeling shame about it and trying to avoid it and trying to pretend like we're not having those feelings. Let's just feel all the way through it with the desire and the intention to not attach ourselves to it, but to care for it enough so that it can be released and let go and we can have freedom. Just like in the physical body, like an infected wound, it has to be opened up. It has to be seen. It has to breathe. It has to be given space, and it has to be cared for. And that's all our inner wounds want too. And as we do, our literal physical energy increases because there is so much literal wattage energy taken up by these ruminating thoughts and all of the things that we stress and have anxiety over. When we quiet our minds, when we learn to clear out the space inside of us, we have so much more energy. I used to be dragging all the time. I had chronic fatigue. I was drinking at least 5 cups of coffee a day, and that is just not an exaggeration. I would get my double shot espresso dirty chai lattes, and I was drinking caffeine all the time. I do not drink caffeine very often at all anymore, and I am vibrant and alive because I'm clearing out the shit that weighed me down, and it's worth it. Even though it's difficult, it is worth it. There's always light. The sun always comes up, even when we face the shadow. So, all right, I'm longer than I thought I would be today, but I appreciate you being here with me. Anybody want to say goodbye, Billy? You want to say goodbye? She says goodbye. Hope you have a wonderful day, evening, whatever, wherever you are in the world. I send you all my love. I send Jesus, Kate, and Ebert's love to you. Namaste.